Hi, in this video training of Node.js, we will be looking at how to build a real-time chat room with Node.js. Our simple chat room is going to have the following set of features. Change the username of the user, send messages, show if another user is currently typing a message. Cool. Now that we have our requirements, let's start building up the environment and setting up the structure. Okay, setting up application environment. First, create a new directory for the application. You can name it anything you want. So I'm going to create that directory. I'm going to name it node real, or just call it real time chat. Real time chat. Okay. Second step is to run the npm init to set up the package.json file. Let's go into this project directory. Don't have any file at the moment, so let's run npm init. Okay, and now we have package.json file. Make sure that at this step you assign app.js as your main script. If you don't worry, you can always change it in your package.json at a later point, but we will do it now. So package.json, and I'm going to set app.js as my main execution file. So that's done. Okay, let's install the dependencies. In this video we are using the Express server, EJS, templating engine, Socket.io and Nodemon packages to build the application. EJS is a popular JS templating engine. Socket.io is the library responsible for creating connections between the server and the client. Nodemon is a package that restarts the server every time we make a change to the application code. It eliminates the need to manually stop and start the server every time we make a change. Unlike the other packages, we install Nodemon as a development dependency since we use it only for development purposes. Okay, let's install Express, EJS and Socket.io using the following command. So I can do that by sudo npm install Express, EJS and Socket.io and hit enter. Okay, all these three are installed now. We have the node modules folder. So okay, now let's install the Nodemon module. Install Nodemon, and it is for development purposes, so I'm using save-dev. Okay, it's installed as well. So let's move next. Okay, we need to add a script to our package.json file. So it's already open here, and in the scripts here I can set start on Nodemon app.js. Okay, let's save the file. Then we can start the application by running the following command on the command line. Okay, npm start. Okay, don't worry if it fails because we don't have any code file yet. Now let us set up the application structure with all the dependencies which we'll need for this project installed. Let's build the project structure. For that you will need to create a few directories, and for now one file called app.js. Let's get that done so that our app structure looks as follows. Okay, Okay, so let's create a file called app.js. app.js, save it. It should be in the root directory, so we have it here. Now let's create the folders we require. The two folders we need are views and public. Node modules is already created when we install different packages. So let's create the views folder, and let's create the public folder. And within the public folder we need the CSS folder and the JS folder. So that's done. Let me change the permissions of views folder and the public folder. That's done as well. So let's move next. I think the structure is pretty clear, but let's quickly go over it. app.js. This file will be used to host our server-side code. The views folder contains the views. The node modules where we install all our dependencies. The package.json includes the npm configuration file. Npm stands for Node Package Manager. The public directory we will use to store our assets like CSS files, JavaScript files for the client side, and images. Okay, first steps building the server. The first we need to do before we even consider doing the real-time connections is to get Express up and running. For that, let's open our app.js file and paste the following code. Okay, don't worry about this because this source code will be available on my GitHub repository, and you can easily download it from there and you can run it on your own. So no need to worry about typing in the whole project yourself. Okay, it's better if you type because it will give you a good practice of getting familiar with the Node.js syntax and things like that. Okay, now we have pasted the code, save it. Let's look in another terminal tab. Now you can see server is running because Nodemon is continuously listening to the application and it make the changes on the runtime as we develop our application. Let's move on to the next step. Once we have Express configured and using EJS as template system, we can start working on the sockets.io initialization. For that, add the following code at the end of your app.js file. So once the connection is made to the server, we can console.log that new user has connected to the server. Let's save this file and let's move next. The code is pretty straightforward. We are initializing socket.io from our server connection Express, and right here, and then we set up an event using io.on, which will be triggered every time a new connection to the socket gets established, which is this function. If you now run your server with npm start, you will be able to receive new socket connections. So let's start building our front end. Okay, here is the HTML code, and this file will be called index.ejs file. We will be copy pasting this file to create the view. So I'm creating a new view in the views folder, and it will be called index.ejs file, and let's copy it from here and paste it. There's a second part to it as well. Okay, now the file is complete. That's done. So let's move on to next thing. Now note that how we have included the script of the client-side socket.io library and the custom JavaScript file we are going to use in the code. Let me check if we have added these. Yeah, we have added these in the footer. So we have added it from the Cloudflare CDN, and then we have the chatroom.js file which will be loaded from the JS folder. We also have a button with ID message button to send a new message. Here is that button. So this is the button. This one with the ID message btn to submit a new username. Username and messages inputs have IDs username and message respectively. All user messages are expected to appear inside the unordered list with the ID message list. If a user is trying a message, that information will appear inside the div with class info. Let's create a new JavaScript file named chatroom.js inside the JS folder. Note in the HTML above that I'm already referring to this file, the public directory. Inside the JavaScript file, we need to connect to socket from the front end. We can do it like this. So let's create a new file called chatroom.js. Okay. Let's copy this here, save the file, and let's move next. Okay, changing the username. The default username we use for every connection is anonymous. We give the users the option to change their username. We will be setting up the backend to change the username when the front end emits a change_username event. Go back to your server code, that is app.js, and edit your connection event to add new code. Here's app.js, and in the connection event we have already this console.log, so we can add socket.username equals anonymous. That is the default username that we will give to the user, but user will be able to change it. So we are going to add a new event listener, that is change username, and on that event we will receive a data from the front end, and we are going to update the username to data.username. Okay, that's it. Let's save the file and move on to next. Okay, next we need to adjust our front end so that when we press the change username button, it emits an event to the server with the name change_username. See how we built the name by emitting and capturing the same event name. Inside chatroom.js, we are going to add an event listener to username btn to emit a change_username event when the button is clicked. Okay. So this code will be entered in the chatroom.js file. Okay, let's go to chatroom.js file and let's replace the previous code, and here we go. We are basically listening to the click event from the user, and we have added that click event on username btn button. So once the user have entered their new username and click this button, we are going to trigger the event change_username, and we are going to change that username with the new username. Okay, sending messages. The next feature we are going to implement is sending messages. Here things start to get little bit different. So far we said that every time the front end emits a message, the server will receive it. However, in our new case, the front end needs to emit a new underscore message event, which then will need to be sent to all the connected clients so that they can print the new message. First, we will set up the front end to emit a new underscore message event when a new message is submitted. Since the client side should also be configured to receive new messages other users send from the server, the application should also listen to receive message events on the front end and show the new message on the web page appropriately. We can achieve both these tasks using the following code, which goes inside the previous connect function in chatroom.js. So we are going to add new code in chatroom, and we already have the we need to set up the events for message functionality, and let's do it here. Okay, so it is going to be inside the connect function, so I'm going to remove it from here and add it here. So all this functionality can only be done once the user is connected. Every time the receive message event happens on the client side, we change our DOM, that is document object model, to render the message into the screen, that is in the browser. On the backend side, when we receive a new underscore message event, we need to emit a new event to all the clients. For that we use io.sockets.emit function. Change your connection event in your app.js file as follows. So let's go to app.js file, and here we have the connection, new user connected, anonymous, and okay. Now handle the new message event. So we need to add the code to handle the new message event in the app.js file. So let's copy this and add it just after the change username event. Save the file. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's move next. When handling the new underscore message event, the server itself emits a receive message event to the connected clients with data about the new message. This event is received by all the users connected to the server, including the one who sent the message, so that the new message is displayed on their chatroom interfaces. If you now open your web app in your browser, you can have multiple instances. You can start chatting with yourself. You can connect to the chat room using two separate browsers and play around with the feature of sending messages and see how the messages on user sends instantly appear on both users' application interfaces. Okay, one enhancement we are going to add into our current application is that I'm typing. In most real-time messaging apps we use today, we see a simple text that says user X is typing ... whenever another user is typing a message. This gives the application a more real-time feeling and improves user experience. We are going to add this feature to our application. Okay, first let's consider the front-end implementation. We add a new event listener to the message input box to emit a typing event whenever a key press occurs. Since key presses on the message input box indicate that the user is typing a message, the typing event tells the server that the user is typing a message. The client side also listens to typing events emitted by the server to know whether another user is currently typing a message and show it on the user interface. Again, inside the connect function in chatroom.js, we add the following code. Let's move on to chatroom.js, and we have our main connect function, and right after the receive message event I'm going to add this code, which is the event listener on the key press event. Okay, let's save this and we move next. If one user is typing a message, other users are shown the text is typing ... for 5 seconds. Now we need to set up the backend to handle typing events. The code we use here is this. Socket.on typing. Typing is the event and the data we are receiving from the front end. The front end is sending us the username that this user is typing something in their info window. So we are going to set a 5-second timeline before we empty this object in the DOM. We need to set up this event handler for the typing event in our app.js file as we did for the new message and change username events. Save this file. Okay. Okay, we are ready to see our application in action, and let's see how it works. Let's go to the console. Okay, we have it. Let's open a browser, Chrome, and go to localhost 5000. I changed the port to 5000. You can run it on 3000 or 6000, anything you want. Let's change it back to 3000 as we did previously, and index.ejs and chatroom.js we need to change it to 3000 as well as we did before. So let's kill the server, start it again, and we are back in our browser, port 3000. So we have this interface. I'm going to change my name to Usman, and let's change it. So my name is changed. Let's type in message, hello from Usman, send the message. Okay, you see there is an issue because we weren't able to see the message in the info or the message area. Let's debug it. Let's open the developer control tools. You can open it by F12 or you can open it from going to the file tab, more tools, and developer tools right here. So to debug your application, you can see there are a lot of red sentences or messages here. So let's click one of those and see what is an issue. So we have an issue saying unsupported protocol version. Okay, what my guess is that this is an issue with the socket.io library that we included from Cloudflare CDN. So let's go to our view index.ejs and let's use a newer library. Instead of using 3.0.4, let's use 3.0.4, the newer one. So let's get back to our chat room and let's see how it goes now. Okay, Usman, and here you go, hello from Usman, and send it. Okay, now I have got the message right here in the chat room area. Today is Friday, and let's send it. Okay, I got the message now. Now let's connect the second user to see if it works with multiple users. So I'm going to start another browser, that is Firefox, on my operating system, and I'm going to open the same URL, that is localhost 3000. Okay, let's go to Firefox and open it here. Okay, I'm going to name the user to, let's say, John Doe. Change the username and let's type in the message, hi from John. Okay, Okay, I got hi from John here, but let's see if I get it in the Chrome as well. Okay, I got hi from John. So I replied by saying hello John, send it. So on the other side I get hello John. So that's how it works. One thing I haven't checked is the typing thing. Yeah, so you remember the typing functionality we added, like Skype or any other messenger, or like WhatsApp or Skype, that if one user is typing, then the other user can see that. For example, if John Doe is typing, then Usman should be able to see that John Doe is typing. So let's type in a message. The month, you can see here John Doe is typing, and it stays there for 5 seconds. So if I type in again, the month is February, it still says John Doe is typing. So it's working, our typing feature is working. So if from the Usman side, if I say the year is, and on the John Doe window, John can see that Usman is typing. So we have that feature in place. So we have the application up and running. It is a real-time chat room, and you can experiment it with it by downloading the source code from my GitHub repository, set up on your own machine, and you can experiment with it, and you can enhance the functionality. You can add the login part, you can add the registration part, you can connect the database with it, and you can build your own real-time chat application and host it on any server. So that was all about this video training. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And let's come to the conclusion. Today, using real-time features with desktop, mobile and web application has almost become a necessity. In this article, we covered a number of applications of real-time apps and learned how to create a real-time chat room with the help of Node.js and Socket.io. To continue from here, you can either try to improve this chat room by adding more feature and using a database to persist older messages, or implement another real-time application that has a different use case. Okay, that is all. See you next time with a new project or topic in Node.js.